Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Talking Sam here on my YouTube channel, Sam Macias. And with me today is a talented, fantastic, creative, innovative Shelby Sessler. I think I pronounced your last name wrong. I apologize.
Sessler. You got so
Sessler.
close on that.
I was so
Sessler.
close. I was so close. I usually get these last names right, but you know what? I'll take the licks. It's fine. Shelby, how are you doing today?
It's all good. They gave it to us on Ellis Island, so it's a weird name. It's not even the original one. Huh. I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me and joining everyone else here. Really appreciate it. I really started following you on a lot of the videos that you do with tomato sauce and a lot of the voiceover stuff. I'm realized that you do. I gotta say, you are really, really talented, really awesome. And before we get anything started, one point everything out, Shelby is not part of SAG, so whatever she does here doesn't get involved, doesn't hurt anything. So what we can talk about is okay. She's not crossing any lines or anything like that.
We're good to go.
Yes, we are good to go. And I want to get started with you on when did you first contribute your creativity to when it comes to like your voiceover work, your acting, your cosplaying, and everything like that?
I'd say that like my inspirations come from a lot of different places. I find a lot of inspiration in seeing what other people's passion is bringing to the table. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, my inspiration, I've been working on like letting my brain just do what it wants to do. That's kind of my rule of thumb lately has been just like do what my brain is telling me is right to do, and I'm more happy with the results than I ever was when I was trying to like follow a specific pattern or specific like path. So it's really just like let my brain connect A and B and create F. You know,
skipping C and everything else, it heads straight to F, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Nice. Have you always been someone that always loves to perform in front of people, whether it be and also entertaining, whether it be in the theater aspect or voice acting aspect as well?
My mom said that I did not cry. I meowed. I sang. Like I came out of the womb singing.
Oh, wow.
So I've always enjoyed singing and like performing for people. Like, you know, there's always that little bit of you that's like, I'm scared, but I'm pretty good at pushing that back when it comes to performance. So like I think I started doing theater when I was in middle school. I did like choir and like church plays and VBS and things like that when I was younger, but I really started getting into theater in like 8th or 9th grade and didn't stop. I think I did like 60 plays when I was in college between like costuming or performing in or directing or assistant directing, stage managing. I did a lot of shows. My opera director was like, you need to learn to say no. You need to learn to say no. Stop it.
Now, what was the kind of inspiration for you to start theater, acting in theater when you were in 8th and 9th grade? Was there a certain play that you saw before then that just caught your attention, or a certain movie or show that's just like, oh, wow, okay, I want to kind of do that. Where do I begin? What do I have to do to start?
To be honest, I was pretty anxious when I was in middle school. I had like a lot of just like friendship drama in middle school that made me kind of scared to like get out of my shell. So my dad made me audition for The Music Man. And I got Marion, which is like the female lead. So I was like, okay, this sounds pretty good. And it just kind of like opened me up, got me out of my shell. I remember in theater class in like 7th or 8th grade, they had us come up and do something for the class to perform. And I sang, and that was the first time people were like, wow. So like just being able to use my voice is something that's always been really important, and it's opened up like new paths for me and new opportunities.
Nice. All right. Awesome. And you mentioned a little bit ago that you performed about 60 plays in college. Did you go to any schools specifically for that, for your major, or did you go to any training while at the same time?
A little bit of both. I was actually in school for music, so my degree
Okay.
is in like singing, real pretty. I always tell people I have a degree. I have a fancy piece of paper that says I sing real good. So
Ah, hey,
yeah,
hey,
so
a degree is a degree.
it's true, it's true. I don't use it very much, but it's nice to have.
True, yeah.
But
Always
yeah, I
nice to have
was
in the back pocket.
yeah, so I like I don't know if that's including like all of the I don't think that I included any of the like choir performances or like little things that I did. I think that's just like all of the cumulative stage things.
Mm.
But I was in school for performance for voice. And so I had a lot of training with my specific teacher. I think she used to work for the Metropolitan Opera.
Oh
So like
wow.
she was fantastic. And I learned a lot from my opera director too, because we had somebody who specifically would just like teach the opera program. And so like through that I kind of was like, hey, like arias are kind of like monologues. And then I I don't want to credit the fact that we have like musical theater things in at my school to that now, but like the all of those programs were separate when I was in college, and like they started merging them after I was there.
Oh,
And I was like,
okay.
my yeah, like my teacher, my voice teacher started doing things like she would have us read, like speak the lyrics as a monologue and then sing it. She did that
Mm.
after I was like, yeah, arias are just monologues, but with music. She started
Oh.
doing that. And I was like, cool. Like you're doing things because I said stuff because I just like let word vomit come out during voice lessons. That was cool. But yeah, I was like, you guys waited until like the year after I left to merge all of those into musical theater. How dare you? How
They,
dare you do
they
that?
they always wait until you leave when they put everything, all the good stuff together for
Yeah,
any
yeah.
school, any program.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, oh yeah.
you mentioned the your teacher was also an opera
She was a mezzo soprano at the Metropolitan Opera.
right. Was that were
She's still
you
performing. Like I think she
oh
retired recently, but she's still performing opera now.
okay. Was that something you were also maybe trying to look at too, going into like the opera setting as well?
I like opera, but for me, the operas that I always liked were like the Singspiels. Like my favorite opera
Mm,
is The Magic Flute by Mozart, which is basically a German musical theater piece. Like
right.
there are there are arias, there are duets, there are trios, and then there's a scene in between each one. So my interest in opera was really filtered more through musical theater than anything else because I like songs that tell stories. I like things that progress the plot forward. So
Mm.
I like it when you're able to like give your love, your thoughts, your emotions through music. Because I think music's the closest thing to magic that we have in this world. Because it's one of the only ways that you can literally transfer one emotion from you to another person and have it effectively like travel across. So it's like I love what music is able to do through storytelling.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember I was watching the Hamilton musical on Disney Plus, and there was the one song, one last time, and Christopher Jackson he was singing it, he was belting out the voice, and at the end of it, you can see tears literally coming down his face just by the end of that song. It's like, dang, he put everything he had into that song,
Oh
and
yeah.
just you're 100% right. Music songs has a way of bringing out emotions that people probably didn't even know
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I think Philippa Sue has like the most incredible ability to
Mm.
transmit emotion. Like that show is it's a powerful show, and it's because the performers in it are so connected to what they're giving to the world. It's incredible.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah. Is there a certain play that you remember even to now that really stuck with you when you're looking back and was like, wow, okay, that was my best work there.
I will say I have favorite plays that I've been in, favorite musicals that I've done. The Music Man was like a huge one for me because that like introduced me to that love of musical theater. Into the Woods is always and forever going to be one of my favorite shows that
Mm.
I've ever done. And then I think trying to think of like what shows really stood out. Like I said, there were so many of them that um really just were like there were a lot of shows. Like I did a kids show called Pinkalicious, which was
Oh,
about this little girl who eats a bunch of pink cupcakes and then turns pink. and then it's about the power of fruits and vegetables to turn her back to normal. It's great. I really liked doing that show. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was a fun one. I
Oh,
recently
nice.
did a production of Cinderella like a couple years ago. That one was great. I got to be the dumb bratty sister. So
Oh,
he's like,
okay.
why doesn't the prince want to marry me? Yeah, so it's like I had a lot of fun with that. And I ended up making the transforming dress for Act One for that too. Because
Okay.
like the costume designer just kind of like just didn't follow through on finishing the dress. Like he put the task to one of like a younger person. Like she's an incredible costume designer. It was the first time that she had been stuck on a like actual stage production, and they kind of like used her. They did not treat her quite right.
Mm.
um she had a really good idea that I built off of to create the transforming dress, and I had literally like 48 hours to put it all together. So I had to like study real quick how they do like the dresses that just sort of like fall apart at the seams. um and so I like created one that like you pull it right here and like the whole thing just comes down, and then the dress is revealed. And I was like, imagine how much I could have done with that if I'd had more than 48 hours. I
And
was
true.
very tired.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit ago that one of your directors or someone saying that you need to learn to say no. Do you feel like doing everything for a show, whether it be in theater or acting, voice acting, do you do you feel like maybe doing everything for everyone can that be a little bit weighing on you and kind of hinder your work in some ways, or is it a way for you to show everyone, hey, this is me, this is how I am, I express myself in this way?
For me, it's more about like every aspect of my life. You have to find a way to limit yourself and set boundaries in a way that like keeps your soul okay. Because like I've had jobs where they just are like, come in every day, come in 7 days a week. We'll have you here for 10 hours, 7 days a week. And I'm like, no, I can't do that, because like if I do that, then I don't have the energy to go and put anything into the things that I enjoy.
Right.
So it's like it's draining to just try and live. But art really like makes me excited. It makes me want to do things. So I really voiceover and like costumes and like making TikToks and stuff, that's really what's gotten me through the past couple of years, like especially since the pandemic. Just being able to find ways to like do little acting bits, do little voiceover bits. I really like doing comic dubs and like finding the way to like interweave the music in a way that like punctuates what the audio's doing. Those things like they get me excited. Like I don't want to sleep. I'm so excited to just sort of like work through how those things all work together.
You're not only a fantastic actress in theater, but you're also a amazing cosplayer. And just going
Mm-hmm.
on your social media, on your Twitter and Instagram, where you post, you do incredible work on there when it comes to your costumes. Um, when you're first starting out, was there any fear in the back of your head that be like, "Oh, I don't think people are going to respond too well to that," or is it just like, "I don't care what anyone thinks. This is what I love. I'm going to do it. If they don't like it, they can just, you know, go away and kick rocks."
I am a big fan of don't compete against other people, only compete against yourself. And so
Mm,
for me, when I do a like a costume or a makeup test or something, I'm not necessarily being like, oh, I want to be better than this cosplayer. I want to be better than the last costume I did.
okay.
So a lot of times I'll choose a character, and people are like, why would you do that character? And I'm like, because I want to know what the makeup looks like. Like I've done Bellos, like young Bellos and old Bellos, and I
Mhm.
did it because I was like, I've never done old age makeup like this with latex before. I want to do that. So I just did it. I've never like glued a full beard, just like individual hairs to my face before. That sounds fun. I'm gonna do that. So it's like most of the time I'm just, let's see if I can do it more than anything.
I like how you like to challenge yourself. Like if it's a
Yeah.
challenge that you think you want to tackle, that's you go head first into it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of competing against other people. I don't like the idea of like saying I'm better than another person. I think that's a really mean way to think about the world.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, most of your costumes and cosplay that you do are characters that currently on TV right now or have finished with their runs, like Steven Universe, The Owl House, Gravity Falls. When you decide to do a character, is it on personal preference, or is it be like, okay, no, I think I'll get a good following, a good liking if I do this character?
I actually don't take following or liking into account really when I do makeup tests. If I do more like TikToks or something, if I put the costume back on, sometimes I think about like how the following is. Like I need to get back into Janet from The Good Place at some point and film more TikToks because people really, really like my Janet TikToks. Like I think that's the only TikTok I've had that's hit 1 million views, almost 2 million at this point, I think,
Oh, wow.
is a Janet TikTok. Yeah. It's like non-binary pride sitting here being like, let me just project my non-binary pride onto this not a girl character. I love Janet. So yeah, it's like repeat things I take into account what people respond well to, but initial things I'm just like I really like this character. Like I started doing DuckTales cosplays because I was like, I don't know who Della Duck is. I have not gotten to her in the show, but I like her energy. And I feel like I'm going to like that character. And now she's like one of my kins. Like,
Oh my God.
I'm just like, this is me. This is the character that I want to be when I grow up.
And I gotta say, your Della Duck is so spot on. It is so good.
Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. And not just Della, most of your, if not all of your cosplay that you do are so, if so 99.9% spot on, there are 100% spot on. So kudos to you and your amazing work.
Thank you. I like to overthink things.
Well, it could be overthinking, or it could be like, hey, I want to be authentic. There's nothing wrong with being authentic, okay?
No, it's just overthinking. It's 100% overthinking. Like when I started doing DuckTales cosplays, I was like, I want to incorporate the yellow into the makeup, but I don't want to do the same thing for every single character. So at least for the first 10 or so characters that I did, because I think I did like 30 DuckTales characters, I just was going off. I found different ways to incorporate the yellow in each character rather than like doing it all the same. And then after a while, it just sort of settled into like what people responded the best to. So I did like the yellow blush, and I think other people do that now, like with duck costumes. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't think I fully started that, but I definitely popularized it.
I mean, yeah, so take credit. Why not?
I credit's not important. Right. I'm just glad that people responded well to the nerdy stuff that I was putting out into the world.
No, that's awesome. That's really awesome. When you see reactions to other people to your work for your cosplay, whether it be at the cons or just on social media, and it's just flooding with positivity to your work and everything like that, how's that feel? How's that like so far for you? Just like overwhelming emotionally. Again, you're not doing it for the likes. You're not doing it for the attention. You're doing it for yourself because that's something you love to do. But they're just flooding you with just the amount of love and just appreciation that you put into the character, because they also love the characters as well.
I mean, like everybody likes to get affirmation. Like it's always really nice to hear good things about what you're doing. I always look at cosplays at conventions as like a conversation starter. So like it doesn't matter how popular or how important the character is, you can start a conversation and make friends with people just by like having a character. Like I think I did an Orphan Black cosplay once to a con. Oh, wow. There were 2 whole people that knew who I was, and we had great conversations.
What has been kind of the character that you've kind of seen as a challenge to you? Because you mentioned that doing the bellows and doing the facial makeup and everything like that, the prosthetics and everything. What's kind of been the challenging character to do for you when it comes to cosplaying?
It's hard to say. I mean, like bellows is very time intensive to get into, and I'll say that like the first 10 minutes of like filming TikToks in those characters are always really weird, because you're like, it's kind of like you're trying on clothes and you're trying to like find your comfort in it. And then once you find like who that character is, you kind of know what motions go with what they're like. You figure it out as you're going. Right. But it's really, I love doing TikToks because it's a way to like do character exploration without fully having to commit. Like I'm just dressed from the waist up. I'm not wearing pants. Like yoga pants, but like not character pants. I'm not wearing like
Right, right.
character related things. It's like all my DuckTales cosplays, it's like cosplays and then yoga pants. So it's
Hmm.
like nobody cares. But it's like it's really fun to be able to just sort of like step into this life and explore what that body language is, who that person is, what those choices that they would make in a situation would be. So I just like I like exploration. I don't know if I have one that's like been super hard to get into though. Like even with any character, I always find the nugget of something that I relate to. And like for like Belos, it's abandonment. Like
Right.
it's the same thing with like the collector. It's like high energy and abandonment issue. So it's like I find that thing that like connects me to them and I'm like, oh, okay, this is my entryway. I get it. And I've always done that with like improv for characters and stuff.
Piggyback off that question, what's been kind of your favorite character to cosplay as so far? And is there a character you're looking forward to that you haven't done yet?
Let's see. So I mean, like I love being the collector. Like I love him so much. I love being Della Duck. Dipper Pines is still one of my comfort cosplays. Like if I'm having a bad time and I just need something to bring some light in, I just throw Dipper on and do some TikToks.
It's okay.
I love being Rapunzel. I love honestly anything from Tangled. I want to do Cassandra and I want to pull Varian back out and refine
Oh,
him a little bit more.
okay.
But like and Anna from Frozen. I love Anna from Frozen.
Nice, nice. Now, from the cosplay aspect that you also do, you also a fantastic voice actor. Let me just say first and foremost, because listening to your reels and listening to, like you said, the dubs you do for the comics and everything like that, it's very on point, very authentic, I must say. How did you first get into voice acting, and was there anyone in particular that steered you into that realm of acting, or was it something that you sought out yourself?
So I've been voice acting, I guess, like pretty actively on the internet for about 10 years now.
Okay.
Um, I think the first time I decided this is the route I want to take, I was babysitting my voice teacher's daughter and we were watching like a Barbie movie and I was like, I could
Mm.
do that. And then after that I was like looking into it, like listening to like anime commentary reels and I was like, whoa, people do this as a job. Like it never occurred to me that that was a thing. And so I remember walking into high school and being like, Sierra, I know what I want to do with my life. I want to be a voice actor. And Sierra was like, yeah, duh. It's like okay. Okay, cool. I'm glad you see it. So I started sort of like just doing fan works and silly things when I was in college, like last couple years of college. I think my voice teacher gave me like a snowball, like
Hmm.
a blue snowball to start out on, and then sort of worked my way from there. Through I did a lot of My Little Pony stuff, both
Okay.
cosplay and voiceover wise. And
Yeah.
at a convention, I met Tabitha St. Germain,
Oh,
and
okay.
Tabitha was like, "You're really good. You could be doing this professionally." And so
Hmm.
she put me in contact with my voice teacher, Ellie Ray. And Ellie is insane. I love her with my whole heart, soul, and being. She helped me cut my demo together, and we'll just like meet up from time to time. And I'm like, "Hello, please help me with what I need to do right now." And she's like, "Okay, yes, we got it." Um, I've done like a ton. This is one of those things where it's like I think nobody really knows who I am when it comes to voiceover, but a lot of people have heard what I've done.
Hmm.
Um, because like I know at least there's at least like 3.6 million people that have heard my voice because they don't mention it dub where I'm anti Mabel. And like I want to say 75% of the Mabels in that dub. They've heard that. But most of the things that I do, people don't really like look at the credits. They're mostly like, hey, it's Mabel, instead of being like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, Shelby's a good mate. Like, so most of the time, anytime I do something, it's mostly people just being like, it's the collector, it's Mabel, it's Spinel. Like it's mostly because my voice matches pretty close to what people are able to do. They mostly just acknowledge it as the character rather than a voiceover work at all. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Um, it's an interesting way to live life.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. And speaking of your teacher, Ellie Ray, who has been one of the best voice actors in the game for a long time now, is there a
Oh my
specific
god, yeah.
is there a specific advice or teaching that still sticks with you today when you go and doing auditions for voice acting or doing your own work for your channel or or for your TikTok or anything like that?
Find authenticity, subvert expectations, and play above all.
Nice. Is that also gotta keep the improvisation alive and well when you're doing the voice acting?
With improvisation, I listen to a lot of different interviews that people have, and there's a lot of different takes on what you do improvisationally with like auditions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like to just like go crazy improving on things. If I'm improving, it's going to be like I'll add a sigh somewhere that completely changes the read, or I'll like add some laughing in there. Things that are like atmospheric more than like, oh, look, there is a gold coin over here and it makes the room shine so bright. Here's my audition. Like I'll set the world, I'll play around with the world, but then like for me it's more like if I'm doing a read, I'll like take different like read things that are going to be the improv rather than like pouring improvisation into it. But that's just because improvisation is not my I get a little anxious when I'm like overly improving, which is funny because we one of the biggest things that I was a part of was real-time fandub where we would just turn the audio off and just improv the episodes. It's like considering that was something that was like pretty formative to my starting in voiceover on the internet. Like I don't love improving as much as I love playing.
Right.
So it's like when I do things with Tomoda, he'll send me the lines that he wants me to do, and they all have to be in a certain time frame so that they fit the timing that he's working through. And like I'll play around with something within the little frame of like I'll give you 3 different reads within the timing that you need me to, and I might like pop one thing rather than another, but like for the most part like I try to give what is asked. I don't like to overwhelm people with brilliance.
When you doing the characters that you do, whether it be a teenage girl or a child, or do you all do any characters? Do you look at what the script says for them, or you just go by your imagination? Like, okay, I believe this character would sound like this.
You want to go by what the script says for sure, because that character description is something that you want to take into account. Because, like, if they say we want like a big buff lady, and you come in with like, oh, teeny tiny voice like this, the read might be hilarious, but it's not ultimately what they're looking for, and I don't like to waste people's time.
Right.
I want to be the end, like I want to be the person that is fulfilling the need for them with the least amount of stress. And so like I don't like to overwhelm them with just too much that's going on. I like to keep it as simple as I can. I just want them to be like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what we were looking for.
As a voice actor, do you kind of listen to other voice actors that are out there right now, kind of like the Jimmy Costas of the world or John Robert Thompsons, and just listen to how they speak or how they cadence to a certain character that they do, and trying to not mimic or copy them, or just like, okay, how do I apply that to my work or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I love listening to what other voice actors do. I think earlier I was talking like before we started recording about how I've been going through Breath of the Wild. And so I've been like listening to the voice acting in that and just hearing like how much fun the voice actors are having, especially the voice actor for Teba or Tiba and Rivali. Like, holy crap, they're just like he's having the best time of his life doing all the roles that he's doing in the game. And so it's like just hearing the joy that someone brings to it, like Zeno Robinson, the way that he voice acts, you can tell he is having the most fun he's ever had in the booth. And so like I love listening to like different people's performances, and I listen for patterns. Like I automatically will sort of like listen for what the pattern of speech that a person has. Like Tara Strong has very specific like tells, even if she's doing a voice I've never heard before, I recognize a certain like cadence behind the things that she's bringing. And so I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's her signature. That's what Tara brings to the table. So like I love listening to what other voice actors do. I like to imitate, I like to like step into the shoes kind of to sort of like see what that does and how that changes things when I'm trying things. Not necessarily so I can like voice match them specifically, but because I can take like, if I'm playing around with a character that like that Great Lyle does, and like playing around with that placement right there, I can create a completely different character from what she had with the exact same voice that she did, but it's like it's a completely different character. So it's like playing around with that placement helps me to explore different aspects of my own face, like little cavities that I've never knew existed.
Nice. And does that also kind of challenge you to think outside the box when you're voicing new characters, characters you had never even done before, whether it be like completely out of the box sort of thing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of my favorite things to do is like take a show and say, I'm just going to do characters from the show that I've never tried before, and just take about five minutes tops to like learn the voice and learn what that little signature is, what that little placement is, figure out where that sits in my range. And sometimes it's terrible, sometimes it's great. So I like listening and finding new placements in there. Sometimes I'll be listening to somebody's performance and I'm like, I would never have said it like that, but that is the coolest way that you could have possibly said that. Like, I love studying people's performances.
Nice. And before we started talking on here, I mentioned too, I first discovered you on one of the videos that you worked with with Tomato Sauce. And I was just curious, how did that friendship kind of start, and how is it like collaborating with other YouTubers or voice actors or anyone in particular when you're making content like that?
So I met Tomoda through my friend Zelda, who voices Lilith for Owl House Abridged. Zelda and I met just like on TikTok because we both do voiceover stuff, and like Zelda's rad as heck. If you guys don't follow Zelda immediately. She is absolutely incredible. So yeah, like it was one of those things where I think Tomoda had put out a casting call for Willow. And so I auditioned because my friend Jay was like, you should audition. Like my friend Jay, who does again, he's an amazing hunter voice match. Like Xeno's also his guiding force. So he voices Caleb for the videos on my channel. So he was like, this is your thing. Go audition for Willow. So I auditioned for Willow and I didn't get it, but he started looking for someone to voice Collector, and Zelda was like, hey, so my friend Shelby does the best Collector impression, and just sent it to him. And so he reached out to me from there and was like, hey, will you audition for this? Will you audition for Marcy? And so I auditioned for those and came in. So like it's fun filling in for Biz. I still think that Biz is like the heart and soul of Marcy on that channel, but I'm glad I got to fill in for a little bit.
Right.
But Collector, he's my guy. Love that little guy.
I mean, we got to protect that little guy as best as we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Protect him. He needs it. Give him a hug.
And just really quick, just talking about this topic, what have some of these shows meant to you personally? Because obviously, from the work that you put in to the cosplay to the voice acting, you have a obvious love to Owl House, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, and DuckTales. What do the shows mean to you on a personal level?
So let's see. Gravity Falls is like one of my long-standing favorite shows. It just sort of like helped me find solace and just being myself. It's one of those shows where when you watch it and you're like, well, I'm awkward and sweaty, like, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to be uncomfortable with being a human. Like, it's okay to just be weird. So like Gravity Falls really helped me come to terms with just accepting myself for who I am. DuckTales had a similar effect, but more in like a queer, non-binary representation kind of way for me. Right. Not because the show itself is necessarily specifically queer, but there's a lot of queer coding in it. But like knowing that I'm not very straight. Like coming to terms with those aspects of my life, that was something that DuckTales helped me to explore. Owl House helped with that too. Steven Universe. So it's like, it's all about, all of those shows encourage you to embrace what makes you different as a good thing and not necessarily as something that is a detriment to society. So being able to find solace in like just who I am and embracing that and sharing that with the world is something that I mean, like, we all need to hear that. We all need to hear it's okay to be a little weird. It's okay to be a little wild. It's okay to take it slow sometimes. So all of those shows for me just helped me to feel seen
Mhm.
and to just get through the stuff in my own life that I just needed to move through.
I'm glad all these shows can do that for you, and hopefully whoever's watching this can also hear and just relate to you and everything that you've been through in your life, and just discovering and finding yourself through that whole journey as well. Earlier, with talking about Tomoda, you said he put out this casting call. When you're doing like work like that, is it's completely non-union, not SAG related. Are you looking to one day go into that kind of form of acting? Is that like kind of like
Oh yeah,
the
no, I would.
okay?
Yeah, like I mean, the ultimate goal is getting to work on cartoons that are airing on TV. Like
Hmm.
the ultimate goal is to be able to make money doing this.
Right.
Doing fan work is really about like making connections with friends and playing with each other in a space that allows you to explore different ways that your voice works, different things that you can do, different editing techniques, different recording techniques. So I'm here for the friendship aspect for that. Like I'll
Okay.
do anything for him. And similarly, like up until now, like I said, I've done a lot of My Little Pony, a lot of Gravity Falls related things, a lot of Steven Universe things. All of those have been like relatively unpaid. I've gotten a little paid for some things that I've done, but like
Mm.
it's for me it's more about like doing a solid for my friend than the monetary aspect. But that being said, I would very much like to make money doing it. I do not like standing on my feet for 8 hours a day on concrete, so I would much rather be making big bucks doing voiceover. So that's ultimately the goal, but I don't expect fan work to necessarily take me there. I don't expect to like ride coattails to that part of my life, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
No, yeah, it does. And,
Mm-hmm.
and to that end, have you gotten any opportunity to go out and audition for a certain role or anything like that before all the strikes happened by any chance?
I wish. It's
Mm.
really hard to find an agent. Like the big thing
Mm.
right now is in order to have access to those auditions, you have to have an agent. And
Mm,
right now,
okay.
agents are like invite only. So it's been a nothing burger, but just got to keep trying. And hopefully, I can budget my time in a way that I'll be able to put more auditions out. The past year it's been something.
Well, I'm rooting for you. I'm pretty sure everyone listening is rooting for you as well. We're gonna just wrap it up with this last question for you. With you, what's kind of like the next? What's next for you, personally, professionally in this game of voice acting, cosplaying, even acting in general? I don't know if you're interested in acting in front of the camera. Maybe so. What's kind of like the next step for you? And do you have any other future works you want to discuss, maybe talk about, or you want to keep that on the down low for now?
I don't have anything that's in the works right now. Right now, it's just about like getting out what I can get out. I'm trying to find an alternative to my current job so that I can actually take more creative work. Because
Mm,
ideally, I would be like taking costume commissions and voice commissions and recording things for production. But my current job is not very conducive to doing anything except going home and going to bed and then going to work. So
ah.
trying to find an alternative to that so that I can actually do the things that give me creative fulfillment, because it's frustrating.
If anything that I've learned about you during this time, I know you're gonna overcome the struggle. You're gonna hit the pavement hard and just make sure you're gonna come out on top as the awesome person that you are. Knowing that 100%. Shelby, thank you so much for joining me today. I very much appreciate it.
Of
What
course,
can
anytime.
where can people find you online if they want to follow you?
So my YouTube is Shelby VO. I think that's also like one of my tags on Twitter. I'm mostly on everything else is just Shelby Sessler. My name. It's my TikTok. It's my Instagram. It's my uh X. I hate it. I hate the new
Uh,
Twitter stuff.
X.
My
Jeez.
Twitter is Shelby Sessler. I don't want a dead name, but also he dead names his trans child. So,
Mm,
and he's trying to get us to forget that he didn't invent Twitter. So
right. Come
yeah,
on now.
yeah. So I'm Shelby Sessler on whatever that terrifying app is. But yeah, no, across the board, Shelby Sessler, pretty easy to find as long as you spell my last name right.
And say it, by the way, I might add.
Say my last name in order to find me, though.
I'm gonna feel so bad for mispronouncing your last name so much.
Don't feel bad. I don't give you permission to feel bad for that.
Okay, well, there it is. She has given me verbal permission not to feel bad about that. I will accept that. I'll take that as a win. And everyone, you guys can find me on my social medias on X at SamMac55, TikTok at SamMac55, Instagram and Threads at SamMacias55. My YouTube channel is Sam Macias, just my first and last name. You guys want to follow me? Make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and see more fun interviews and videos like this as well. And until next time, Shelby, want to join me with the bye?
Oh, what's the bye? What is our bye?
Just a good old
just bye?
Yeah, just bye, like the good old fashioned news bye. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, count us down.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye.